Hey YouTube, we back. In this video I decided to take a break from the engine side of things, and I wanted to talk about something else. In this video I wanted to talk about wiring up your subs and amplifiers. If you ever decided to do that kind of thing, you know this video might particularly be for you. Like I said, I had this car and I've been working on the engine and stuff, but at the same time I had decided, man, you know what, I want some speakers and amps and all that good stuff. So, you know, I decided to go ahead on and do it myself. So one of the first things I did was, you know, I bought speakers, and I decided 212s would probably be big enough, you know, for the Camaro. So I got some 12s, you know what I mean? Then I bought an amp online and a wiring kit and all that. And my wiring kit was 4 gauge wire, you know, so it came. And one of the first things I did was I ran the power wire, okay? Now they say, and when I say they, you know, the internet, but they say that you're not supposed to run your power wire and RCA wires on the same side. So when I looked in my hood compartment, the battery was on this side. So that lead me to believe I'll run the power wire on this side because the battery is on this side. So if you own one of these Camaros, when you look, you have a grommet down behind there. You know, there's a grommet where there's a harness that passes through. I got lucky on this one because the grommet was kind of damaged a little bit, so I was able to easily slide the cable through. But one of the other things you would use, or would make it a little easier for you, it's a little tool. It's in the garage. A little tool. You squeeze it like this. It's long and metal, and a little hand comes out and grabs it. But you use that from the other side. You stick it through on the other side and grab the cable and pull it through, and that'll make it a lot easier. So I ran the cable through first. You know, this is the cable. What it is, the cable I bought is blue, and I just wanted to make it look nicer, so I covered it up with the you know, you can buy this at auto parts store or whatever, but it's just a cable cover, just plastic cable cover. I just put it over top of it and, you know, taped it down the end just to make it look nicer, you know what I mean? And you know, you got your fuse box right here, whatever, and then it goes down and down through the grommet. So further on the inside, what I did was took down the panel there, and of course it came through, and I just removed, there were some screws right here, I just removed and put the wire up under, and it came all the way back. And then I went up under the seat here and up to the back. All right. So back here is where the wires came out at. All right, and I decided to put the amp right here, you know, kind of just, you know, it's out of the way. You know, if somebody is in the back seat, they're not stomping all over it. But put it there, and of course I screwed it down, you know, so it's not going nowhere. But my power wire came out, you know, from up there, ran it up behind the seat, and of course the same cover, you know, for the cables, just to make it look neater, and run right there. And then you need your ground wire. All right, so what I did was, you know, they say your ground wire should go to some kind of metal. You have to take these clips off here and here on your thing, but you lift it up. But my ground wire, I just ran to a metal bracket that's right here under the thing. It had a screw. Took it off, you know, shave it down a little bit so you get good connection to metal, and just screw it down tight, and that's a good ground connection. All right, so I have my power and my ground. Then your other side is where you're going to need to run your RCAs. All right, and what I did was, from the back of the head unit, and I purchased a head unit online, you know, that's we'll get to that in a minute. But RCAs I ran from the back under there, kind of up under the dash. Same thing, just removing the panel, and RCAs under here and up through there, you know, back up under the seat, and back here, and just popping out right here. You see, and just hide it under stuff, you know, and same cable cover, you know, just make it look neater. And there are my RCAs right into there. And I want to say that's the remote wire right there. Yeah, I ran RCAs and remote wire on this side. So that second one you see coming out right here is the remote wire that goes over there. Yep, so on this side you'll have 3 connections: your power, your ground, and your remote wire. So after those three are hooked up, it's like, oh man, okay, he's starting to get somewhere. Oh man, making some progress. All right. This particular amp just has these two outputs here for speakers. All right. So what I did was, because I got two, so what I did was I took, each speaker and, hooked it up. Like say you got positive and positive. We'll take that two positive, put it together, and then here. And then you got negative and negative. Take that two negative and put it here. So both speakers are working. You know what I mean? So you got that hooked up. Put that right there. All right, you got your RCAs. Got that right there. All right, so then got to head up to the head unit. Okay. Now, what I have found out with doing head units, and I'm no pro, believe me, but what I have found out, using the radio itself, like the holes in the radio, if you ever look at the back of the radio, here, I'll try to show you real quick. You see these holes on the side of the radio? You see these holes that they have? A lot of them come with these holes on the side, right? What you can do, right? Because see, I've done, been messing around with these for a little bit. So, I've had that one and I changed it. I put the other one in the Lexus because, that one was, so I've been doing it for a little bit. So, but they got these holes on the side. And what you do is get like a little screw or something that'll fit in those holes. Of course you make sure you're not touching something when you go in there, but most of the time there's enough clearance. You get a screw or something and you make a little bracket, like a little brace bracket that will keep pressure against this and the face or the bezel of the radio, so you don't have to need, you won't need a particular install kit, so most of the time I just get some kind of piece of metal or something and screw it right here on both sides and to the back of the thing, and it holds steady, so that's what I did here on this one. See, and this one, the bezel comes off here, all around here. So you grab it like this. Some people use a screwdriver. I don't use a screwdriver but you grab it like this. And, oh look. Oh look. It's coming out. It's coming out. Oh, it's coming out. Now this is where they say the famous YouTube line, it's hard to do this with one hand and hold the camera at the same time. It is. All right. Oh, see. But what it is, right? I just took the bezel off and you mount the radio to the bezel. You see? So the radio is, and if you can, let's see if I can show you how I did it. See, it's all plugged up and everything. Oh, this is so tough. Okay, hold like that. Now, here. See my little bracket that I made? It's just a screw and a piece of metal. And just hold it on there. And it's enough tension to keep it steady, that once you put it on there, the radio goes nowhere, and then you just connect all your plugs. Okay, now the plugs, this is where it gets complicated. This is where it gets a little funky. Okay, this is where it gets a little funky. But again, once what I have noticed over the time of doing these is, first, to make it easier for yourself, first of all, right off the bat, make it easier for yourself. Get the connecting, what is it called? At Metra, they sell them. All right, it's the Metra connection adapter, or it's the Metra something. So I can't remember the exact term what it's called, but it's a connector that they sell at Metra. You put your car in, and it's a little plastic piece that you plug into your connector, and then it has the wires coming off of that. So you don't even have to guess with what goes to what and blah blah blah. You just get that. It's maybe $8, $10, who knows? Just pay the money, get it, and it'll make it so much easier. But you can connect that to that, and then everything else is pretty much self-explanatory. Like I said, this one is kind of, you know, it's in there right now, but I'll show you on this other one. I have a demo one I could show you. Track days coming soon. Track days coming soon. All right, on the demo. Okay. This one is a little more simpler, but most of them are like this. When you get back there, right, when you start looking at your wires, okay, like I said, you get the connector from Metro, and it'll connect onto your factory harness, and then it'll have wires coming out the other side that look something like this. Now, the wires basically, if you can, you know, start to just think about it this way, is speaker wires, power wires, and other wires. Your speaker wires, they're always the pair colors. There's 2 purple, there's 2 gray, there's 2 white, and there's 2 green. All right. And on those wires, it actually says which speaker they go to and which polarity that particular wire is. All right. You gotta pull out your bifocals and look at the thing, and it'll say, or does it say? Spit it out, you. Darn it. Well, most of the time, it says it on there, and they're either labeled like this. They'll have a label on there like this. Right, but it'll say front. It will say FR plus or FR minus. That means front right positive, front right negative. All right, and you'll have one of those for each speaker, and there's 4, 1 in each door. Okay, so once you get those out of the way, all right, it narrows it down to another little bunch of wires. All right, you have your power wire. All right, most of the time power wire people associate with red. All right, red, and they'll say ACC, but the red wire, power wire. All right, then you have a big fat yellow wire. It's a constant wire. This wire is like the wire that'll keep your clock on, the wire that'll keep, you know, constant power to things. So this wire will have, especially on your harness side, it could be, you know, it's live, you know, so when you're hooking it up or it's loose or whatever, be careful, you know, because it could spark or whatever, right? So power, constant. Black, of course, your ground. All right, so you got 3 out of the way right there. All right, so you remember those. You got your power. Positive, negative, black and red, and constant. All right. Then blue is usually your remote wire. Your remote wire tells the amplifier to turn on. Okay, so you have a blue wire. Okay, so now after those out of the way, you'll start to get into other function wires, like the things that your particular head unit does. You'll start to see other wires. You know what I mean? Like, you know, this one has a backup camera. So you'll see a wire for a backup camera. And hopefully the one, you know, the unit that you buy, these wires are labeled. Because a lot of times they're not labeled and you kind of got to guess, you know, what they are, you know, or they're labeled and it doesn't really tell you. Like this one here, it says key function, you know, so maybe this, I think this, one of these is the dimmer switch too, the illumination switch, but I'm not sure which one. I haven't used this one in a while. But yeah, that's where you'll have to start looking at your individual head unit to kind of see what these other wires are. All right, but your main wires, okay, your main ones, your speaker wires, you know, they are color to color. If you're not colorblind, you know, no disrespect to the people that are colorblind, But if you're not colorblind, you should be able to hook these up to where they go. Purple positive to purple positive. Purple negative to purple negative. You can do that, okay? After that, positive red ACC to red ACC, okay? And when you twist them together, right, that's another thing too. A lot of people do it different ways, you know, whatever. But I usually, you know, will twist them together, you know, get the both wires, twist them together where they're like that. I'll hook them over like this, and then use one of the plastic end caps to screw it down and tighten it on the end and leave a tight connection like that, you know. So for me, you know, those work, you know, they make it easy if I have to take it apart or fix something or change the head unit or whatever, you know, it makes it easier to whatever, you know, and it works. But that's just mine, you know. But you do those, all right, once you got your power, your constant, your ground, your remote, your speaker wires hooked up, all right, you got those going, okay, you're starting to feel good, got some progress. You have to look back here, right? There'll be, hey, I don't know if you can see it, but it's that funny looking gray one, right? It's a metal like hook thing. Focus. But that one right here, that metal right there, I'm pointing at it, but it's a metal antenna. It's for your radio. The radio needs to be plugged into the back of the head unit. You know, it looks there. Oh, focus for a second. There it is. Oh, that little metal. Right there, it's a little metal thing. But yeah, but that needs to plug into the back of your head unit, and then your, you know, your local radio stations and things will come in. All right, but plug their radio antenna in, hook all your things up right there, put your bracket on the back, make sure everything is plugged up. You know what I mean? This is where too you can kind of try the different connections with your illumination key or, you know, different things like that. But if they're not hooked up, this will still work. You know, the sound on your radio should come on with the antenna hooked up, and the you know, the power and ground and all that stuff. So at least your radio will work, so you know everything else is working. You know, that's at least that's working. You know what I mean? But you know, and then after that you can, you know, do the other wires or whatever. But that is basically it. You know, if you can get over the initial fear of messing up, you know, once you get over that, hey man, it's smooth sailing. It's smooth sailing, and you'll be so proud of yourself and wanting to show off your stuff, and you know, wanting to be whamming down the street, and you know, it'll work. You know? If you have any questions, man, I'm telling you, YouTube is the place to be. All right, I'm telling you, I wish I could, but there's no. I would give you a demo. I would show you that it actually works. People say, man, it don't even work, man. I know that I can't because the battery. Next episode, man. Next episode, I'll, you know, but it works though. It works. It does. I'm telling you, I promise. All right. But yeah, do your thing. Have a good time. See you next time. Peace.